Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and today I'm here with a little bit of a how-to really. I have something I create for my journal signature pages, which I call my Antiquarian pages. So I thought I'd share those with you. They're fun, you can do them on any theme, and I'm just going to show you how to do them. Okay, just in case anyone asks, why did I call them antiquarian pages? I was struggling to find a name for them, and I looked it up on the internet, and the Cambridge Dictionary gave a definition for the word antiquarian that said, connected with the trade, collection or study of old and valuable or rare objects. And I found this sort of fitted the mode. Up until then I sort of called them explorer notebook pages, but for me they're now called antiquarian pages. So first of all I need coffee dye paper. I've got an A4 here, that's because I'm here in the UK. It will be whatever size page that you need for your journal, and just fold it in half and it gives you your page. So that's my first bit. You can do this on any paper whatsoever. I like using coffee or tea dye paper because it adds to the authenticity of the overall look. Right, I'm going to put this on a bit of a clean mat. Not that that's the cleanest mat in the world, but I'm going to put it on there because it's easier to move around and it'll prevent me making my grey mat even messier. Moving that to one side. Next thing we need is a post-it note or a sticky note or whatever you're used to calling these. So I tend to use the larger ones. You can use any size you want. Now the sticky edges down here, you need to tear all the way around this just to give it a rough edge. The important thing is I'm going to use this to mask off areas of the page, and it doesn't look authentic if you actually have straight edges anywhere. So I like to be able to have torn edges on this. So you don't have to be careful. It'll all make sense as we work our way along. Now, this idea came to me when I first got hold of an Edith Holden book. And I was like, I really like the way this looked. And the more I collected books from my journaling, the more I found books that had sort of a notebook style to them, a collection of ideas, collection of sketches or art pieces. So that's where this idea sort of stemmed from. So now I've got this, my sticky bits there. Let's bring this back in. Now I'm going to use this for a mask, so I'm going to yeah, maybe we'll have that long. So I'm going to tear a piece off. I normally do three pieces. It's up to you where you put them on the page, up to you how you do them, what shape or size they are. Where's my sticky bit gone there? And once you've done this process once, you can then actually recycle these sticky notepad pieces until they're no longer sticky. So all I've done, the arrangement of the masks that I've just created and put on there, completely up to you. I don't check on sizes of anything. I just roughly do this because then I don't get into formatting and I don't get into the pages looking the same every single time. Now the next thing I'm going to use is I'm going to use this stamp set by Tim Holtz. Where's it gone? I've forgotten. Where's the label gone? It's called Ledger Script CMS 241. When you purchase this, it is actually, where is it? It is actually one big piece. I just cut it in half because it was easier for me to store it. I want to use this half, which only has script in that direction. I don't want to use this one where it's all crisscross over. You can use any script stamp you choose to do this, okay guys? You could even use a smaller one. You can do it any which way you want. This is just my favourite for doing this. So take this out of here. I'm leaving it on its backing because I don't really need it any other way. I'm going to centralise it a little more though. Sorry, I know that was off shot, but that doesn't matter really. Okay, move that to one side. Now what I'm going to use here, let's move that back in so I can pull it over here, is I'm going to use archival black ink. Now again, it's up to you. You can use whichever colour you like. I just personally prefer to use archival black. So I'm going to stamp the ink pad onto the rubber stamp as I normally do. I'm going to pull my page in, and I'm going to try, without knocking my head on the iPad, to put this on the page and press it down. Now you could use a stamping block for this, you could use a stamping platform, you could use acrylic blocks, anything you wish to do this. I just tend to do it this way. Now I want to put in another piece down there, so I'm going to come in. I know that it's going to be that side, so I'm just going to stamp down there with my pad and come in, move that across. I don't want to overlap the text. I want to give the illusion that this page is a fully written page of notes. Now where it comes down to here, I'm going to slide a piece of paper across there so that I've masked off the top so I don't duplicate or cover up. I don't want double prints of text is what I'm trying to get at. So I'm going to try and take the bottom half of this stamp, come in and pop it down there. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to try and use the top half to fill in that space on the other side. Let's just put the lid back on my ink, bring this down, and making sure I'm not overlapping them, or if I am, I'm overlapping them as minimally as I possibly can. So, right, we've done that. This needs to just be stamped off on something. Sorry, I tidy as I go, so it's going back into its little holder. I need to do a stamp project too, because I'm about to tidy my stamps up a bit. So that then gives you this. Let's move that to one side a second. If I now take these off, I now have areas that are not stamped on. And as you can see, I keep my spare pieces, because why tear up a new piece every single time? If I'm doing multiple of these pages, probably just tearing up 2 sticky notes is enough to actually use for all of them. So that gets me to this stage. So I think we're all here on that one. Now I've already got 4 more of these already made, ready to go, just at this stage. And I've done them this far because I want to show you what options would be. So let's pull this back in again. So next thing I would say to do when you're doing one of these is look at your stamp collections. You need probably 3 stamps, 3 rubber stamps or clear stamps, transparent stamps, within a certain theme to be able to do what I want to do next. So I pulled in some stamps. So I've got like some insects and butterflies from, these are from Mackie Stamps in Germany. These, I couldn't tell you where I got these from. These, well, I just couldn't tell you where they're from. I've had stamps for many, many years. I can't tell you where I get them all from. I just pick them up as I go along. So I'm going to come in now. I'm going to put some stamping onto here. Let's see, what do I want to do? That might work. Right, some of these I have used, some of them I haven't used before. So again, with the plastic packaging, what does it mean? Plastic packaging do not get along well. This is why I'm trying to work out a new storage system for my stamps, because this is doing my head in. So, right, I am going to use a stamping block for this, purely because I want to be able to see and position it. Let's take that off there. Let's pick it up on my block. Now you have options at this point, and I'm hoping I don't headbutt the camera when I'm doing this bit. I'm going to continue to use archival. If I was working on white paper, I might use grey, shadow grey or another shade of grey, to give the illusion that this was a pencil drawing, but I quite like, the black outline. It works well for me, and I know that I'm probably not going to get a perfect impression every time. So whatever you choose is whatever you choose. So I'm going to come in, I'm just going to position that there, give it a few seconds to think about itself and to transfer the ink over, and that's given me my first image. Right, let's clean off the stamp. Let's just throw those up to the top. I can deal with them later. Okay, now looking at my other stamps that I've bought in here. I did that last time. Maybe if I'm just playing with stamps, guys, because I'm trying to just... That might work. I'm liking the idea of this flower. but I don't want it to go over there. So I'm just going to bring in another one of my post-it notes or sticky notes, whatever you're used to calling them. And I'm just laying that across there because I want to make sure that I don't go over the text. Now, if it goes over the text slightly, like it has up here, that's actually not bad. That's actually quite nice looking. It's as if the person, the antiquarian, the explorer, was actually walking around and doing stuff as he was going. I'm going to pop that in there. So it's given that. Again, sorry, apologies, I can't tell you where these stamps are from. I tend to collect stamps as I go, and you get what you get, to be honest. Right, I've got a little beetle here. I'm just going to pop him on here because this has got a little bit of a something. So the trick to doing these pages is to think like someone who's walking around the fields, walking around the countryside, and they're trying to capture little images of stuff as they go. Now, I think I am going to put that in there. I'm going to put this to one side. I did pull this set out, by the way, because I found this size stamps. And again, it was, who knows where it came from. This is perfect for this sort of stuff because you can put little details in the corner. I was going to put foxgloves on here, but there's already enough on there as it is. I'm going to put this little butterfly beetle thing on here in this slot purely because, oh, don't drop that, Griffiths. I'll get ink all over your hands already. Because it's part of the next step that I actually want to show you what it looks like. So just coming in and pop that in there. Give it a few seconds. So already you can see now where we've got to. We've actually just created a page. Now, at this stage, I'm going to go and continue to stamp all of the other pages so they can all be at the same place. I just wanted to show you what varieties look like as and when you do them. So this would be someone walking around the countryside, capturing little bits of nature and making notes. So this could potentially be, let's call this Edith Holden, shall we? Let's go on to this one. Okay, this one is someone who's been scavenging for mushrooms. I can't remember where this is from. Maybe this might be someone called Lavinia Stamps. I don't want to be held to that it might be someone called Lavinia Stamps because I know that that company does lots of toadstools and fairies and magical castles and things like that. So it could be Lavinia Stamps, but as I said, I don't keep a record of my stamps. I just use them. So I just pop in, I'm going to pop that one in there. That's a nice clean looking stamp, loving that. Now have I got a little something else I can add in here? Let's pop that down there. Right, so I need something in here, trying to show a bit of variety in the toadstools and the mushrooms and things like that. Actually, that one might work. I'm trying to think ahead to the next stage as to I want to add bits of interest. Now, these antiquarian pages that I'm creating, you can take them to very many levels. Okay, I'm only going to take them to the basic level, but once you've created them, you could always come in and put in things like you could stick a feather on a page, say it was a bird watching one. Maybe for this one you could put some moss and actually stick it to the page. Stuff like that. Just adding extra elements. I think the secret to this process is pretend you're walking around the countryside, and as you walk around the countryside you're gathering little bits of information, little bits of everything as you go. I want to see if I can put something small in there. Is that too big? No, that will do. So, as you know me, I tend to like building up a story about things I'm doing. So just by adding in these little elements just changes everything, and I love it. So there you go, that's another one there. Let's pop that out of the way, and then I need one more for down here, which we might just do. That fits perfectly, right. So this would be for, let's say I was doing a journal. So this one would be for someone who likes gardening and country walks. This one could be for, say, someone who likes cooking or foraging, or again, could be someone that wants a woodland journal. This would make sense for a woodland journal. Let's pop that. Right, let's get these mushrooms out of the way and that out of the way. So that's our next page done. Now, the next one I'm going to do, and this one I do know what this stamp set is called. This is from Visible Image. It's called Mr. Bojangles, and it's this set. And I thought, right, let's do this one as if this is for like a medical student or someone like that who's doing research. Now, I've used these before, but I've never used that one, so I'm hoping I can get it to stamp properly as I stamp. I think we're going to have to put that one in there. So yeah, the trick is to just look at what you've already got in your stamp collection, guys. You've probably got, because we're all people who like to collect stuff, if you buy a set of stamps, you'll probably find that when you buy a set of stamps, it is more than one set anyway, more than one stamp anyway. So you've probably got 3 or 4 of stamps of a theme, and that's perfect, because what that means is you've already got enough to do a page. Now you can, as I said, take this to a whole nother level. Right, I just want to, let's see, I need to do a sideways skull. I'm thinking I want to put something else in here, but never mind, he'll do for the moment. I might have to come back later and think about something. Oh, he's going the other way anyway. Okay. So, there you go, that's that one. Visibleimage.co.uk are based here in Wales. Actually not a million miles away from me, which is great. So I do love this company, so I do tend to use their stuff from time to time when it's appropriate to do so. Actually, yes, I think he'll fit in there. So again, as I said, I'm not sure about this one because I've never used this one before. And you know, when you get stamps for the first time, sometimes you've got to condition them. Although I haven't had much trouble with stamps that are clear because they tend to be sticky to start with. Right, let's pop you in there. Pop you down. There you go. So I've got him on there. I think what I'll do is I will figure out something to fill in the extra spaces, because there's only skulls and a skeleton on this one. So even though I do have 3, I do think I'd like another element in there, and I'm not really sure what the other element will be at the moment, but I'll work on it. So let's put that one to one side. So that's for our medical student. Okay, so this one, I'm going to do sort of an underwater theme. Okay, this is from, so I'll pull this out. This is from Pink Ink Designs, this set, the Seahorse Nautical series. Oh, there they are. And that will tell you what the stamps are like in this one. So I love that one. I love the little fish and stuff. Very handy, very easy to use. And again, this is another visible image set, and this one's called Dare to Swim. I like this one because I use this a lot. This saying is, beauty goes far deeper than most people dare to swim. I love that. I use that a lot. So, right, let's pull this one out. And this would be for someone who's doing oceanography. Now, I want to make sure I've got a space big enough for this. What's the space on the other one like? Actually, I'm going to swap these 2 over because I've got one more to do, because I want to put this into a spot that's big enough for it. So I'm sure your brains are already going, oh, I could do that, I could do this. It's just about sparking a little bit of inspiration as far as I'm concerned. I'm just trying to put this idea out there because it's something I do genuinely do, and I love doing these because it's just like making your own background page without having to stick stuff down. You've done it. It's not adding any bulk to... That didn't come out very well, did it? I'm just going to redo that again. Okay, this may turn into a disaster, guys. Right, I'm going to have to pull this out from camera shot so I can actually try and line it up. Right, this is where a stamping platform would have been a far better idea. Let's see if it's stuck to it, and see if I can just run my thumb over the back of it, just to try and get that down on it. You can buy a foam pad to stamp upon. Okay, not perfect, I'm not worried about that. I will make that work for me. This is live, guys, this is live. So let's put a little bit of seaweed in the top corner. So anyway, so just think of all the hobbies out there. There's archaeology, there's bird watchers, there's mountaineers, there's gardeners, there's farmers, think about that. Just think about groups of what people will be collecting images of or information from. You could almost build like a farmer's almanac out of this. So just bear with it as a thought. So take it off. Right, and I think just to follow through, there's a little cluster of bubbles here that I just want to pop down there. And now I'm going to do one more, and then I'll show you what the next stage is for doing these. Just pop some bubbles down because it's in character. Now, if you do want to rescue a stamp that's done that, you could always come in with a fine line marker and actually just redo the lines by hand. If you really didn't like that, but like the whole rest of the page, you could come in and stick, say, a rubber stamp over that, something like that. Now, I'm not going to put anything from here on here, but I did want to show you that set because I really do love that one. Little seahorses and that look really fabulous on that. And this, you may note, is smaller. So this is TN size, Traveler's Notebook size. So that's a perfect little addition. And then we're going to do one more. And this one more, I've got this mushroom and toad, well, this toadstool set, which I really, really, really love. And I'm going to put these on there. So again, now I haven't used this one because it's relatively new for me. So we'll have fun with this, I'm sure. Right, so I'm going to, that's too small for that. Let me just have a look and have a little funk, should we say. That might be, I don't mind going bigger. Now, I don't mind if the stamp just barely goes over the edge of the text. That works for me because if you're someone who keeps notes yourself, you'll probably find as you're writing, you come into the end of a long word, you write into the image anyway. Right, let's hope this stamp's okay. As you can see, it's a brand new set of stamps. On there, tend to pick it up, turn it over. This is just me making sure I'm in contact because I haven't got the stamping pad or anything underneath me. Yep, that'll do. I know what's happening with that one because I've got colour to put on that one in a moment. Oh, try and get the plastic off it. Okay, I need a little cluster for there. This little stamp, I've used this one before, so I know that's going to be okay. That's it. Now, one thing I tend not to do here is I don't tend to stamp words because I try to think it along the lines of if you're actually out in nature, all you'd have is maybe a pen, some coloured pencils, maybe a little box of watercolours. That's the sort of thinking I've got when it comes to what would I have when I'm out in the field. You don't have a full set of stamps and text and you have a typewriter or anything, so I tend to just pop that down there. I tend to just think along the lines of, okay, what have I got? What can I fit into this? What have I got in my little bag as I'm roaming around the country or the seaside or along the beach? So I've got that. Now I think I want to put a little tiny mushroom in there, and I'm not sure there's one that's going to fit in there. I think I'm going to go back to the other set of mushrooms, wherever I put the other set of mushrooms. Because I know there's a little one in there, it's that one. Let's pop that one back in there. So hopefully you're all doing well, guys. Britain has had some seriously hot weather here, which we are never used to. We don't really do heat here in Britain. If we do, we call it an Indian summer, or we call it a heat wave, and then we move on. But we're not really heat wave sort of people. We're not ready for it. We're just not ready for it. We don't normally have air conditioning. We basically just open a window. So my next stage is I'm going to come in with Distress Oxide. I'm using Vintage Photo here because it's the most appropriate for me now. If I was doing the underwater themed one, let's put that to one side. Underwater themed one, I could edge my pages in blue, say, or I know Tim Holtz has just bought a new, I think it's called some marine blue or something like that, that's a really dark blue. You could take the theme across and do that with it. Also, I'm going to come in, I'm just going to darken down some of those areas so things are not perfect. So I'm going to do that to each of my pages. Now, this, of course, is just a step that I choose to do. You don't have to do this bit, but I do think it gives it the aged look, which is what these are supposed to represent. And I like to go in and just give a little bit where the pictures are, because for me, then I know that the artist or the explorer or the antiquarian has probably been resting on the page. Well, he's been working, or she has been working. Let's not be sexist about this. So this is some seriously speed distressing going on here. I don't mind if pages wrinkle. That doesn't bother me at all, because they would wrinkle anyway. Right. I need to think about something else to go on this one, I think. But that may be an after we finish filming thing, because I can't think of anything currently that I've got that would fit in with this theme. Although I do have numbers and I do have letters and things, so maybe I can do something like that. And then the very last one, which is this one. I'm not speeding stuff up, guys, because I want you to see everything's done in real time. So, with the exception, of course, of stamping the backgrounds on these, which I did do before I started the camera. So, right, we've done with all the distressing. That's that done. Before we go to the stage I really enjoy, I'm going to do one more thing on here, which I really enjoy, and I think it really does make them look a little more authentic. I've got coffee coloured archival, and then I've got ink splats, which is, it could be coffee rings, it could be anything like that. Anything that's got like a splatter effect on it, could be paint, could anything like that. And if you haven't got one of these stamps, just get a coffee cup. Spread some ink onto maybe a palette, and then take that palette and spritz it with some water, and then put a coffee cup onto it and actually just daub it straight onto the back of the piece you're creating. So I'm going to come in. Now I tend to look at areas that actually haven't got much on them. I don't do too much, I just do 2 rings on each of them, because otherwise it just looks really too distracting. Put coffee stain there. Oh, I guess it's going there. Well, that's okay, it's got a really faint one there. I'm just gonna, I was aiming to put one in that corner. There you go. So you're just trying to make things look old. Now, where I've got this and it's not stamped properly, this is how I'm going to cover it up. I'm actually going to put my coffee stain across it, and already it's just covered that up sufficiently that it actually looks quite natural, that it looks like it has been actually stamped properly. I mean, not that I didn't stamp it properly, I had a moment, it didn't stamp. Let's do that around there. I also work quite quickly, as you've noticed. I tend to work quickly because it's easier for me to control things like, if I work really quickly, it means that I can be more random in my stamping or in my creations, because what I found is with my OCD, I get too regimented in stuff. And if I get too regimented, things just don't look natural anymore. Right, so I'm going to put this one back into here. Pop that in there. And then I'm going to pick up some splatters. Maybe this one. Just because I don't want to overpower the whole thing. I just want little bits of visual information. So again, I'm going to come in, I'm going to just stamp down, and where there's gaps like this, maybe I'll just put the odd bit of a splat in. Just little bits. I'm not overkill on this one. I use it to fill in where things might not have stamped correctly. Now you can leave this step out. You could easily do this with another colour. You could do this one with grey if you chose. So let's pop that in there. Put a bit over there. I don't want to go over my stamped image. I can go by there because that looks like it's covering that up. Yeah, it's good over there. So, right, so all of the stamping is now done. Let's put the stamps away. So, let's pop that back over there. So, as you can see, we've built up the page, and now we're not finished yet. There is more to go. I am thinking I need to put something on there. I can't work it out there. So, this gives me the start of my antiquarian, what am I trying to say? My antiquarian pages. So let's start the next stage now. Let's start with this one, shall we? Now, my next stage is I pull in some coloured pencils. Now, as I said, if I was someone out in the field making notes, I would really quickly be trying to colour things in just to capture the essence of what they are. So I'm not trying to absolutely colour within the lines. I'm trying to just work my way along and just fill in bits and pieces as we go. Right, what colour should we do in the jellyfish? Let's do jellyfish, maybe a pinkish colour. So I'm just literally coming over the top, giving it a hint of something. I want the illusion of I've been in the field or I've been in the aquarium, and I'm just working those down. I'm probably going to come in and bring a couple of lines of colour down here. Just to give the illusion. Let's have some yellow in here as well, because there's a bit of a frilly bit in here. But don't get hung up with perfect. And believe me, for me to be saying that, it's a bit of a miracle. Don't be hung up with perfect, guys. It's not really worth it. With this system, it works far better if you're just basically just working your way along, trying to just put little bits and pieces of colour in. So that's that one done. Let's come in with this one. Right, so we've got what I call a red cap. So I'm just going to come in, bit of colouring on that. So I'm trying to give the illusion, as I keep saying, of someone out in the field, just basically trying to capture what they're seeing as they're strolling along. Let's pretend it's back in the days when we didn't all have an iPhone that we could just click images. This is where we actually came in and did a sketch pad, and we got on the go. So I've got that on there. Let's bring in some white just to bring those dots up in colour. Now I don't know what the colour of the gills are under one of these, so I'm going to choose just a colour at random. Let's see. Let's pull these out and find it easier to look at them. Right, I think this is sort of a brownish colour. Let's bring that red in again because I didn't notice it came over here. And then the stem, let's see, let's give this a slightly... I mean, if the camera wasn't on me, I'd be taking a little bit more time in my colour selections. I'm just rubbing it with my finger, guys, just because it gives me a chance to move stuff around. Right, these ones. Mushrooms, toadstools, all of that can be any colour really you choose them to be, because there's so many varieties out there of the species. I doubt whether anyone's going to go, oh, that can't possibly be that colour. You know what? It can be any colour you choose. It's your page. So let's put a bit of green in the grass. Now, as I said, if you wanted to, you could come in and actually put in extra line work on some of this. Let's go with a little bit of this. This is an unusual colour for this. And then after we finish this, I've got one more stage I like to do. So I'm going to make these yellow, I think. Let's do a greenish sort of, let's say these are poisonous, shall we? And then this hasn't actually stamped that well, but that's fine, because you know what? I can go in and put green in there. No one's going to judge me for it. And you could, as I said, come in with another black pen afterwards if you want, or now you've got the colour in, you could actually come and stamp the same stamp over the top again. So that's the next one done. Right, this one is going to be a little bit of a challenge because basically I've got nothing other than white that can be coloured in, but just by putting some white on it, it'll make them stand out a little more. This one, if I had something like, oh, I wonder, I've got a bit of an idea. It's not exactly what I would have thought, but bear with me, I think I've got an idea for this. Right, we'll deal with the idea in a moment. So anyway, I can come in with white. I could come in, say I had some stamps that had like more medical type stuff. I could put that on there. I do have a stamp that has a book on it. I could have put that in there to indicate that it was studies. Right, let's have a look for a nice green. I quite like this green. So just by adding hints of colour, you just bring the page to life. Now, if you're someone who does watercolours, this would be a great exercise for grabbing your watercolour set, because say you were out in nature taking a record of things, you might very well have a watercolour set with you. Right, I'm going to just put a bit of brown into the stems there, just as a hint that there is actually another colour involved. What colour should we do that? Let's, I forgot what colour poppies are. Isn't that scary? It's not a poppy anyway, so let's just get a bit of colour in there. I'm not going to bother colouring the beetle because the beetle could easily have been black anyway. A little bit of green for the stem. And we need to get a pop of yellow. What have I done with the yellow? There's the yellow. Pop of yellow right in the centre. And then when it comes to this one, I'm just going to reach for an orange, because if I just lightly go over the top, I'm not going to go to the edges. I'm just going over the wings. I'm not doing these edges here. I might add another colour. I'm not trying to make it a specific breed or species of butterfly. I'm just playing. I'm going to add a little bit of purple on there because I think that would bring it to life. Maybe a little bit of purple in there too. So that brings that one to life. We'll take a look at them after anyway, guys. Okay, this one's pretty much black and white because of the density of the stamp. There isn't a huge amount of options as to what colouring I can put in. So what I tend to do is I focus on the areas that are not inked, so that I can actually come in and just add a bit of colour to them. Just almost like doing a wash over the top of something. Right, let's have a little bit of a play here. Right, let's do the gills under this one can just be slightly green. And I'm going to bring the yellow in for these ones. I don't know where this guy or girl has been walking, but they're seeing some really weird mushrooms out there. Let's just make this a sort of fleshish colour. Just add colour that's not the background page. So let's just bring this in brown. Let's do brown under there. So you get the idea, guys. I mean, you can do a lot with these. I mean, I am absolutely rushing through all of this because I don't like long videos. I mean, more than an hour and I start panicking. I'm like, oh, that's not going to upload properly and I'm going to have troubles. And also I find if I'm watching a video, I would rather not a video be more than, say, an hour long anyway, because I tend to go, I get a bit bored after about an hour, unless it's an absolutely superb one or it's a live. And I do like watching lives, and watching a live that goes on for a couple of hours is no problem. I enjoy those. There's that one. Right, this one here, let's be a little outrageous with this one, and let's just colour the dots at the top in with orange. Let's do this frilled piece with orange as well. Let's find, where's that pale brown gone? And do the stem. Right, so let's put these out of the way. Excuse for the rattling and the noise. So we basically now we've got the basis of our pages done. I'm going to come back in now. I'm going to bring in my black again. Let's do these one at a time. These were date stamps. Now when I bought these, they accidentally sent me two. I have no idea why they did. They had these strips all the way along. I snipped them off because I didn't want long serial numbers. So I can do a double serial number or single. My big thing is I keep forgetting which way up to go. Numbers are really good when you do things like this. So I like to add the odd bit of numbering in. Be careful if you're repeating the same number all the time though, because it looks a little bit peculiar. Let's actually bring in one of these. Now maybe this is going to help these a little bit, these medical ones. Upside down, that's not going to be a good idea. Oh, I did put it upside down after all that. Well, if you won't tell anyone, I won't tell anyone. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I've got one of these sets, and I want to say I must have picked this up on eBay a very, very long time ago. And what I want to do is I want to put some page numbers on these. So I'll just stamp page numbers. I'll just pick them up and just stamp them next to each other. And then I'll use the last one to start the number on the next one. And then we'll take a look at this one, because as I said, I might actually have an idea for this one. Well, I've got an idea whether it'll work or not, I don't know. Hopefully I'm in shot for all of this. I've worked quite low down the table. I hope I haven't gone out of shot. Right, we'll tidy those up later as well. Don't need looking at that. So we've now got our pages to this point. Now, before we do a flick through, I want to find that one, this one. Let's move those over to the other side. Okay, I've got an idea. I'm not sure it's going to work though, but we're going to have a look. Right. I have got some Tracy Fox labels here. Tracy Fox, this is a digital from Tracy Fox. Tracy has Love Junk journals on Etsy, and I absolutely love her stuff. And I've got a feeling I wouldn't normally put labels on here, but I've got a feeling this is an exceptional circumstance and I didn't have any more stamps for this, so I think it might quite be in keeping to actually just add labels to this. So, and there'd be labels in the junk journal anyway, so, and you never know, if I was a medical student, maybe there would be labels at my behest there. So if I pop these in, just see if it's straight. It looks straight. Let's pop that one there. Now, Tracy in these labels does have some really itty-bitty ones. Hence a little itty-bitty one sticking to my fingers. I might do that one, because it does say field specimen label, which in my opinion means it was done in the field. So I don't know where you find skeletons in the field, mind you, but there you go. And I think one more, because I am a man who likes threes on things. Okay, there's a tiny little approved. We'll have that. The trick with these pages are, or another trick with these pages are, or is, keeping the scale correct. Try to put things that are appropriate for the page. I mean, you don't put a huge, like, I wouldn't use a label this size on this page. Mine doesn't look too bad, but I wouldn't at this point. So let's move that one to one side. So if you look up Tracy Fox on Etsy, look up for Love Junk Journals, that's where you're going to find all of the label digitals. Tracy does have many sets of digitals, and I highly recommend any of them. They're all absolutely fabulous. Let's take that out of the way, that out of the way, that out of the way. So let's have a little look through. So this one, right, we've got this far. To be honest with you, if you want it from here, now if I were to take this to the next level, maybe I'd put a bit of sellotape with a little tiny vintage post-it note in the corner, or find words like, not words, images like chemistry sets or stuff like that. That would really help with that one. Or even if I was to put a Tim Holtz doctor there. Where are my Tim Holtz people? That might actually be something that would be a good idea. Sorry guys, we're going down a route that I wasn't planning on going, so let's see if we can find someone who looks like a doctor. Oh, where are you, Mr. Doctor? Isn't it terrible? You have all these paper dolls and you never find the one you want. He's leaning on something. I'd rather he wasn't leaning. Actually, he's better. Okay, right. Let's pop that down. Right, so he's going to be stood there. Right, I'm going to put into practice what I was telling you guys to do, and that is always ground your Tim Holtz people. So I'm just going to come in, I'm going to give this a bit of distress ink there, just to give him somewhere to stand. I'm also going to go around him to cover up the white edges. Let's pull in some blue book pages. So these are just ideas, guys. These are just, I'm trying to inspire. I'm trying to go, have you thought of doing this? Have you thought of doing that? And maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But it's just, I get inspired by a lot of people's work. Suppose feet below the line. I get inspired by a lot of people's work. Just give a bit of a press down. And I hopefully am inspiring other people to do the same. So there you go. We've just rescued a page that I didn't have enough rubber stamps for. So now this is just a doctor's journal or a medical student. And I quite like that. That works for me. So that's one done. This was the one for the marine life person. This could just go into a traveller's notebook. I would probably stamp a compass or something on there. I mean, I could have put in a seahorse because I did pull one out, but I think it gets to the point where it gets just too busy. And when you reckon that would be part of a big signature and maybe there's something clipped on that, that's enough. Another one, this is someone who's out foraging in the countryside, like in that. Again, someone who's walking around. This is our Edith Holton type person who's walking around just capturing stuff in nature. Again, someone foraging, maybe a chef, maybe someone who lives on their own, who goes out and forages for food. And this was one I created earlier today, which I was just playing around with the ideas, trying to work out which stamps to use for things. So there you go, guys. So hopefully that will give you an idea of something that you can actually do that's different, just adding a little something to your signature pages. And it makes them uniquely yours. I mean, these are not, I mean, I couldn't scan these, I couldn't make them into digitals because the stamps I'm using on them are actually not my stamps. So I can't possibly do that. But it just gives you an idea, something different to do, something different to work with. So I think that's me done for the moment. So here I am, I'm Ceri the Crafter, that's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time, bye-bye now.